Hi, this time I wanted to talk about tabletop RPG sessions where a single player controls more than one player character. This is uncommon for some less experienced people, but it's quite easy. Just like the game master, dungeon master, referee can control various non-player characters, oftentimes at the same time, it's also quite doable for a player to control various player characters. I think this became popular with Dungeon Crawl Classics and any other high mortality RPG out there. In Dungeon Crawl Classics, or Weird Frontiers, that is other derived systems, it is quite common for a single player to control four player characters. When it comes to roleplay, I think you should focus on being quite efficient. For example, you could say something like, my group goes through the doorway into the Great Hall. Instead of describing each action individually, you could handle things like that. You could also say something like, my group goes through the archway. The melee fighters up front have their spears ready to attack anything that attack them from the sides. The spellcasters at the back are ready to cast spells against anything that may come from the ceiling, from above. And every now and then they are looking behind to make sure no one is following them. You could handle things like that. When it comes to more specific actions, once you enter a room, you could say something like, Jack will examine the bookcase. Jill will look through the window, making sure that there are no enemies about the area. Tom is going to try to force open the chest, while Rick will start to prepare a spell of protection. That way, you won't drag things. Instead of being super detailed and flourishy about each description of each of your player characters, it's much better to be clear, concise, and direct. Otherwise, the other players are going to be waiting for all of your flourishy, embellished descriptions. Flourishy, is that the way you say it in English? I guess so, like flourish. So you need to consider efficiency in order for the session to flow smoothly. When it comes to horror games, you should be absolutely certain to be within the shoes or the mindset of a single character within your group of player characters. So maybe you are controlling four player characters and you are entering this haunted mansion. You could say something like, Theodore and Lenny are moving at the front. They have their arquebuses ready. As Jeremy, I am reading from my book of prayers in order to keep us safe from any sort of curse or evil spirit that may attack us. While to my left, Mary will be looking around with her flashlight. So, it's all very simple. It's all about getting into a particular character within those player characters that you are controlling. Otherwise, the effects of horror, the scares, the fears, they are going to be lessened. They won't be as impactful. So when you are controlling various player characters, make sure that you state which character you are focusing on, as in being that character within the adventure. You can put the others on autopilot, as I just did. Just like in a video game, although because this is a tabletop role-playing game, there are no limits, but it reminds me of when in Baldur's Gate or Neverwinter Nights or any other game where you're controlling several player characters at the same time, it's almost like selecting them all and moving them forward. It's almost like that. Just make sure that you state the actions, describe the actions of each of the members of the group. My group goes into the mausoleum. As Samson, I am wielding my double-headed axe in front. To my left, Bob is ready to use his blessed claws against any monster. Behind us, focusing mostly on the sides, we have Janice and Rose. They have raised their shields in case we get attacked from the sides. It's all about that. Be clear, be descriptive about all actions, but focus on stating which character you are in those horror adventures. As Bob, I am doing this. As Jeremy, I am doing that. As Mordecai, I am doing this. I am attempting this, etc. So that way you still pull yourself closer to the horror experience. But aside from horror, you could describe things in third person, but be efficient about controlling all of those player characters at the same time. And of course, there are simple systems that are perfect for this. The quick and classic role-playing game. If you wanted to, you could have each player controlling 6 player characters at the same time, and it would be so easy, incredibly easy. Once again, thank you for watching my videos. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.